Since Donald Trump's win last November, the richest people in America, the wealthiest tech CEOs, have been desperately trying to get their hands and their lips on Donald Trump, and they've been quite successful with that. You might recall that at his inauguration, he was flanked by literally the richest people in America, the richest people in the world were all there, and they've given him millions of dollars, and they tried to gain the favor of MAGA as well, changing policies, making Facebook, for instance, way more appealing to right-wingers and changing their policies on what words you can use and what slurs you can use. Mark Zuckerberg even told Joe Rogan that society has been neutered and emasculated as he willfully neuters and emasculates himself to get the appeal of Donald Trump. And it is not actually difficult to figure out why they're doing all this, why they're shelling out the money, paying for the inauguration, all that stuff. It's not hard to know what they want out of Donald Trump. And we're gonna get to that. We're gonna show what that is. But first, to give you an idea of how important what they want is, let's talk about the epic level of tax fraud they've apparently been committing. Because there's a new report that breaks down what the Silicon Six, that's the biggest American tech firms, have been doing to avoid paying taxes, and they have been wildly successful in that. They have avoided $278 billion in corporate income tax in the past decade, compared with the rate being paid by other US companies making the same profit. So that includes Amazon, Meta, Alphabet, Netflix, Apple, and Microsoft. They generated $11 trillion of revenue, $2.5 trillion of profits over the past 10 years, and a significant chunk of that should have been taxed was not. And I'm not saying, the report's not saying, to be clear, the corporate tax rate is lower than it should be. That's true too. No, they're avoiding paying even the taxes on that already comically low corporate tax rate. They paid just 18.8% in combined national and federal corporate taxes, okay? And analysis by this organization, the Fair Tax Foundation, found that if one-off repatriation tax payments in the US connected to historic tax avoidance were excluded, then it would be even lower. They would have paid just 16.1%. So we had this special thing to claw back some of what they've avoided paying. If we hadn't done that, it would just be 16%. And I want you to think briefly about the tax rate you pay, and you probably didn't make $2.5 trillion in profits. Anyway, the companies also inflated their stated tax payments by $82 billion over the same period by including contingencies for tax that they did not expect to pay, and in fact, did not pay. So they've been very successful at avoiding taxes, but it still requires a little bit of work to get it down that low. What if they didn't even have to do that work? What if they could pay even less and it was just a gimme? Well, that's what they're trying to get out of Donald Trump, and they will almost certainly be successful because he is trying to lower the corporate tax rate to just 15%. He wants it to be lower than what they get it to with a decade's worth of legions of lawyers helping them avoid paying taxes. He's gonna give that to them. So if they're kissing his butt a little bit, if they're paying for parties, if they're going on podcasts, that's what the true goal is, paying basically nothing in taxes. And they're still gonna do tax fraud, by the way. They're gonna pay even less than 15% in the end. Sharon, what do you think?
How greedy do you have to be? At this point, I understand there's greedy people, but we are a government, a society who has this systemic encouragement of greed. Greed is good, like that movie. I mean, the kind of money you're talking about is insane. You said like the T word, like trillions and this and that and profits. And you don't even want to pay the lame, it was a lame tax code anyway. It wasn't gonna cost you that much. It's like a game to how harsh can you treat us? How much can you take from us? We're encouraging you to take more because greed is good, even if it hurts your fellow man, even if it leaves us with nothing. It's just, wow.
I mean, and that money, if we just had that could like almost pay for free public college.
Yes.
And that's just the extra stuff they stole. The tax rate should be higher to begin with. Think of what we could have. Think of what society we could have if they paid what they're owed, and they would still have trillions in profits.